Hello and welcome to News Tonight. I am Rhoda Ngozi, on sign language, Dorothy Namuyomba. Let us dig into it. The Chief Magistrate Court in Kiboga District has remanded a 30-year-old Ronald Aineviona in Kiboga prison till the 14th of April for trespass, assault and forceful evictions of residents in Dwaniro sub-county. State House Anti-Corruption Unit arrested the man on orders of President Yoweri Museveni on Wednesday after he was allegedly implicated in land grabbing from one Haji Badiru Mwanje.
After a heated meeting led by President Museveni and the two aggrieved parties involved in land dispute in Kiboga, Museveni ordered the arrest of Ronald Aineviona, a claimant, and handed the land to Haji Badiru Mwanje as more investigations are being carried out.
That's why in the medium term, we had the legislation to bring back the 1928 Busura and Vujo law. Don't evict Wechibanja, no Busura over Kwechikomo. Keep that. When we have enough money, we shall pay you off. But in the meantime, that is the law to protect the tenant, but also recognize your residual interest, you the landlord.
The State House and Corruption Unit arrested the 30-year-old Ronald and arraigned him in Kiboga Magistrates Court till 14th of April on charges of trespass, assault and forceful eviction of residents in Dwaniro sub-county on land belonging to Badiru Mwanje. The whole issue started after land dispute ensued between Haji Badiru Mwanje and Ronald Aineviona, who all claimed the ownership of the same land. Ronald, resident of Natet in Kampala and a lawyer by profession, claims land belonged to his Indian clients, who hold a freehold title issued in 1928. Yet, Haji Badiru Mwanje claims that he bought the same land more than 30 years ago. Residents and leaders of Kiboga district have commended President Museveni for intervening and urgently resolving the land wrangle
of Haji Badiru Mwanje. I came here to supervise, to see what is going on, because we were informed that the government surveyor is coming here to survey our land, which we did not resist. But coming here, we found the armed men. Who brutally assaulted us. They took our properties. They took everything we had in the car. They beat us to an extent of begging for God to save us. But we are happy that the president has come and solved this issue. I pray it doesn't happen again.
Ndi musanyufu olw'okuba nti President akoze ekintu ekibadde kimusuubirwamu.
The president has heard from both sides, both the side of Badiru Mwanje, the previous owner of the land, and Aineviona representing Asians who claim that are the owners of that land. Having heard from both sides, he resolved that the status quo should be maintained. Badiru Mwanje should return to his land, and that Aineviona, representing the Asians, should be arrested and charged with the criminal trespass, forceful entry to property, and also malicious damage to property.
Ronald Aineviona now has the task of proving his claims of the land before the courts of law. In case the courts find him guilty, he stands a chance to be in prison for trespass, forgery of documents, and assault. Philip Aguta for UBC News in Kiboga.
Kampala Lord Mayor Erias Lukwago has attributed the persistent flooding in the city to outdated drainage systems, inadequate funding and encroachment on drainage channels. His concerns are echoed by Daniel Muhumuza, the head of Public and Corporate Affairs at Kampala Capital City Authority, who points to illegal dumping and the indiscipline of city residents as key contributors to the worsening situation.
The recent floods in Kampala and its environs have caused significant loss of life and damage to property, with the Lord Mayor Erias Lukwago warning that such incidents will continue unless decisive action is taken.
It's regrettable. To date, we have not received even a single coin towards financing the construction of those 8 major drainage channels, save for some little contribution made by the World Bank towards Zirubiji and Nakamiro. Nakamiro is a secondary channel. Financing implementation of Kampala Drainage Master Plan has been clustered amongst the unfunded priorities. Financing Kampala Drainage Master Plan, just $220 million unfunded priority.
The Lord Mayor emphasizes that despite identifying 68 flooding hotspots across the city, efforts to improve drainage systems remain hampered by underfunding from the government.
8 drainage black spots or hot spots that needed to be fixed. A budget was made. Again, government said no money.
KCCA officials stress that blocked drainage channels are largely due to illegal waste disposal, a major cause of flooding.
Starting 1st April, we are going to undertake an enforcement exercise whereby if you are caught littering, if you're caught dumping inappropriately, like in the drainage channels, you'll be apprehended and produced before courts of law, where you'll be where their action may be to issue you with a fine, to issue you with a prison sentence, or both.
However, KCCA maintains that it has made significant efforts to clean and expand the drainage network, ensuring that floodwater recedes within minutes after heavy rainfall.
It will take 50 minutes for water to clear. Now we took 10 minutes. There is progress of about 40 minutes that have been achieved, and that is not a simple task when it comes to state administration, when it comes to engineering. So we believe we are getting better and we shall improve as more resources are provided.
Winnie Ainembabas Katrire and Cayenne Faith for UBC.
And Ugandans have been urged to always heed early warning information and act accordingly as a crucial tool for disaster risk reduction, agricultural planning and overall community resilience. The call comes a day after the country experienced alarming floods on Wednesday. Let's take a look.
Often said, when it rains in Kampala, it pours and floods. On Wednesday, 26th March, this saying became a reality as Kampala capital city suffered one of the most damaging calamities due to heavy rainfall. Surprisingly, the heavy rainfall had been predicted a fortnight earlier.
It was stated very clearly the rain has delayed. But when it gets back, it's going to come with a lot of problems.
George William Omoy, a meteorologist at the Ministry of Water and Environment, attributes much of the blame to Ugandans for consistently ignoring early warning information.
People know that we are in a wetland area and we cannot go anywhere. Though the information is provided, even if we go, they want the government to come and pick them and take them to a better place. But of course, the government has a lot of things on the table. And by the way, it has become part of life for these people in their locality where they stay. They say every time when rain comes, we are always affected by this. So let it come and we will continue.
Ugandans are also criticized for clinging on to indigenous knowledge rather than embracing scientific approaches.
There are some indicators they've been using to predict the rain, they have disappeared. For example, like birds. When they see some birds in a particular area, they see them flying, going this way. Nowadays, they say the birds are not there. Some grass species are also disappearing. Some tree species are also disappearing. Then the wind, the way it blows, it is different from the way it used to blow. So it is just crossing in different directions, making their forecast also becoming difficult. We as scientists, we move with the change of the climate. But for indigenous, they are static. They don't go with the change. So by relying on only indigenous knowledge, meaning the changes of the climate will not be factored into the forecast they are going to generate.
Unfortunately, these issues are being addressed a bit too late. To avoid similar challenges in the future, government is advised to employ a multi-sectoral approach and, most importantly, increase funding for the Meteorology Department to enhance reliable and timely delivery of information.
Because sharing the early warning information involves a lot of things. Number one, capacity building for the different sectors. Number two, aligning people who should now be the focal point person in different places. Number three, channeling this information to the last mile. And people should now take their full responsibility. So you find doing all this kind of thing requires some budget. So most time when we presented this budget, of course, you know, government is also overstressed. There is a budget cut. So when a budget cut comes for our budget, what are affected among others, the budget due to early warning information is normally affected.
Additionally, the government is urged to relocate people living in flood-prone areas to safer locations.
This is the beginning. More is yet to come. So people should now take care, and kindly, if you know that you are in the flood-prone zone, just get out of that. Because the layers of rainfall always come with a lot of catastrophes.
The flash floods that occurred on Wednesday have been reported to have claimed at least 9 lives and destroyed millions of dollars worth of property.
Looking at the forecast like tomorrow, then let me say for tomorrow, then Saturday and Sunday, we have seen like for tomorrow, there is some good expectation for rainfall to come back like in the early morning hour. And looking at how it was compared with the one for today, the forecast indicated that it might be slightly more than in terms of amount. Then Saturday and Sunday also I look at the forecast, there is some high chances for rainfall to come. And most of this rain will be coming toward morning hour, then going to around 11 or 10 to 11 in the morning hour.
Dorcas Kimono, UBC News.
The Auditor General Edward Akol has released a valuation report indicating $118 million for the unrecovered capital investments by Umeme to UECDL. The report was received by the Speaker of Parliament, Aneta Among. The approved figure of $190 million loan by Parliament to cater for the Umeme buyout. Last week, Parliament approved the loan to be secured from Stanbic Bank despite the absence of the valuation report by the Auditor General. Umeme concession agreement ends this month.
In the report of the Parliamentary Committee on National Economy recently presented to Parliament, the total estimated investments by Umeme as approved and verified by Electricity Regulatory Authority amount to $746.798 million, inclusive of $10.84 million to be invested by end of March 2025. The total amount recovered by Umeme is $625.22 million, leaving a balance of $127.66 million unrecovered investments. In order to beat the timeline for the buyout and conditions for the loan effectiveness and avoid punitive measures, Parliament approved a loan request of $190 million to facilitate the Umeme buyout. The Auditor General Edward Akol has released the final figures for the valuation costs for the capital investments estimated at $118 million, which is about 433.6 billion shillings. This is less by $72 million from $190 million earlier approved by Parliament. The report was received by the Speaker of Parliament, Anita Among.
I appointed Ms. Grant Thornton, Certified Public Accountants, to undertake the special audit on my behalf and report to me to enable me report to Parliament and other stakeholders. The special audit has now been finalized.
So we should be able to pay what Auditor General is reporting, not the estimate that were given. And as we made a disclaimer that day, that we shall only pay based on the Auditor General's report. And after.
Later, the Minister of State for Finance in charge of general duties, Henry Musasizi, presented the report to the House, chaired by Deputy Speaker Thomas Tayebwa, and the House adopted it.
Between Umeme Limited and Uganda Electricity Distribution Company Limited.
This is a report of the Auditor General, who is part of the House. Okay, I don't want to subject it to debate. We just want this report to go to government so that now for us we have finished our part.
A section of MPs has stated approving the final audit report by the Auditor General, calling for its scrutiny. But the Deputy Speaker, Thomas Tayebwa, responded on the procedure of handling a special report.
This, Mr. Speaker, is going to be the first in modern history of Parliament that a report can be read there and MPs pass it without even seeing it.
I think it would be prudent that the Auditor General's report is, number one, verified, studied.
The timeline is honorable colleagues. Otherwise, what do I lose by referring it to the committee? I would love that. But now, if we are to beat the deadline of 31st of March, which is next Monday, that is in the contract, whereby if we don't settle by that timeline, Umeme will get a blank check.
Part of what irks the MPs are the conflicting figures by the respective stakeholders and the fear that more costs may rise in the future.
But also government needs to look at the practice that has been adopted, that government does not need to wait for Parliament before you implement the report of Auditor General. Thank you.
Thank you.
And in the second place, we were meant by rules, and under even a layman person could do this, to go on ground and ascertain exactly what government is buying out from Umeme. Umeme has no specific permanent assets that it holds.
The Deputy Speaker of Parliament, Thomas Tayebwa, guided that the Ministry of Energy and Mineral Development reports back to the House after implementing the buyout process. Daniel Mugoya, Gloria Gutabinji, UBC News.
Now, the National Resistance Movement NRM has closed its head offices in Kampala for 10 days as it undertakes the final phase of the voter verification exercise. According to the party's Secretary General, Richard Tedwong, the voters registry currently stands at 20.7 million, but the numbers are expected to reduce after the final verification exercise. Tedwong dismissed the purported figures circulating on social media. He was addressing the media this morning at the party headquarters.
Over 250 ICT experts have camped at the NRM head offices on Chadondo Road in Kampala, working on what the party has termed as the third and last phase of voter verification and validation exercise. The party Secretary General Richard Odong confirmed that the head offices will remain closed for the next 10 days due to the sensitivity of the matter.
This is to help us do our final work on the party register that we feel we are going to conclude by Wednesday next week. We are doing the final verification of the register. We are checking village by village, cross-checking names, cross-checking NIN numbers of our members, and making sure that the village code that we've put to every villages is correct. So this final stage of the digitalization is very sensitive, and that is why we decided to close off the party head office to allow our team concentrate to do the final verification of the data that we collected.
Todong added that the exercise will also remove members who registered but may not have yet reached the legal voting age of 18 years. This means that from the 20.7 million voters originally registered, the members are likely to reduce.
We are also using this opportunity to separate members who are below 18 from our membership register, so that we remain with the voters register only for the party. Because the voter register should have members who are from 18 years and above. But the data we had collected, we were collecting members from 16 years and above. So this exercise is also helping us to screen those below 18. We put them on a different profile, and then those from 18 and above will now form voters register for the party. Now finally, once we get that, we are going to synchronize this information with what the National Electoral Commission has, and so that we know how many of our members are registered voters in the country and how many are with the national identification card.
In the 2016 and 2021 NRM primaries, some party members complained about non-party members infiltrating the register. However, Todong reassured the public that this will not be the case this time around.
We are addressing that, and we are going to make sure that if you are not in the book, you will not participate in our internal election. The rules are going to be very strict. We are going to lock out those who are not registered in our book. And that is why we are making sure that each and every village, we have correct data and information before we take these books to the villages for the election.
The party's Central Executive Committee, SEC, which met earlier today, will make the final decision regarding when the party primaries will be held. However, according to Todong, the mode of voting is likely to remain as it has been by lining up. Philip Aguta for UBC News in Kampala.
Now, the Uganda Human Rights Commission has conducted a review of the Sexual Offences Bill, addressing key concerns surrounding sexual expression, child grooming, HIV-related criminalization, and the rights of individuals with mental illnesses. The review aims at ensuring that the proposed law aligns with human rights principles and international legal standards.
The Commission welcomed the specific inclusion of child grooming in the bill, noting that it was a much-needed legal provision.
Should we charge both children? Because if a child to child is having sex, then it is an offense, yes? Even if they are willing, every parent will allege it is your child who initiated mine into having a sexual intercourse. So I don't know where this will leave us, whether it will actually solve the problem we've been having as prosecutors in deciding when and how to charge or handle these children.
The bill sets the definition of advanced age at 55, which contradicts the Anti-Homosexuality Act, where advanced age is defined as 75.
There is no reason to criminalize any action that does not cause harm to another person. With sex work, there is no victim. It is two adults walking, talking to each other, agreeing to have sex and setting terms for that sexual encounter. There is no victim. And as long as there is no victim, there is no who is the witness in this case. You know, it is not a crime for me to see a good-looking young man and tell him, I want to give you some.
The use of HIV status as an aggravating factor in rape and defilement cases has sparked debate. The Uganda Human Rights Commission says this provision may stigmatize HIV patients, deter healthcare access, and violate privacy.
Sometimes we've been faced with cases where the victim is infected and the accused person or the offender is HIV negative. And very many other things to do with the interpretation of the HIV status of the accused person and the victim. And knowing that in most cases, the victims and the accused persons never know their status. Some of them never get to know their status until they come in contact with this criminal justice system.
The bill states that individuals with mental illnesses are incapable of consenting to sexual acts. However, the Uganda Human Rights Commission points out that not all mental illnesses impair a person's ability to make informed sexual decisions. The Uganda Human Rights Commission calls on lawmakers to explicitly address marital rape in the bill, ensuring strong legal protection for victims. The Commission has chosen to focus on the public health implications of criminalizing sex work rather than engaging in moral and religious debates.
We are concerned about sex work in public spaces. We could declassify and go, move downwards to soliciting maybe as an offense and look at it as one of those minor offenses that we declassify, give it a smaller penalty, and then just leave the private sexual affairs of adults to the adults that are concerned.
Issues such as the burden of proof in cases of intentional HIV infection, the necessity of clearly defining key legal terms, and ensuring judicial fairness in sentencing require further deliberation. Sudat Kaye, UBC News.
And Ministry of Defence and Veteran Affairs is seeking 4 trillion shillings in the next financial year, 2025-26. The Permanent Secretary Edith Butora says the 4 trillion is to facilitate the national programs of UPDF, defence capability services, and enhance UPDF personnel, among others. MPs sitting on the Committee on Defence and Internal Affairs were shocked to hear that the force wants funds to assist Uganda police forces in managing the forthcoming general elections.
The Ministry of Defence and Veteran Affairs has appeared before the Parliamentary Defence Committee to defend its budget estimates of about 4 trillion shillings for financial year 2025-2026.
Land force also presents a zero variance. There's no difference between what you got last year and 25-26.
The Ministry of Defence is also seeking for an additional financing of close to 2.52 billion to aid AMISOM activities in Somalia. On the list are also unfunded activities including welfare of UPDF officers, wage of 10,000 recruits that are under training, among others.
We have people recruited already in anticipation that when they come out, when are they coming out? In a few months, they will get salary. We don't have their salary.
The ministry cited a funding gap of 39 billion for UPDF operations in South Sudan.
And this requirement is to cater for operational and logistical requirements for South Sudan, the South Sudan operation.
You have bought Sukhois, you have trained these officers, but if you do not pay these officers, I can assure you that even what you have sent them to do in the South Sudan, they may not give you the results that you require.
The committee tasked the ministry to account for the already secured funds from the Ministry of Finance to facilitate the operation in South Sudan.
UPDF is very creative. They could have carried their small food rations, but we thank the Ministry of Finance that right now 60 billion has been sent and 39.1 will be covered.
I want to find out from finance where that money came from, because during the supplementary, this issue of deploying in South Sudan did not arise.
The MPs had a back-to-back reaction with the ministry after getting information that the UPDF seeks 139 billion shillings to assist Uganda police forces in managing security during the forthcoming general elections.
Police also budget for election control. Now UPDF also budgeted for election. And then who are the security personnel the EC normally budget for?
Turn to be something else. Just being sure that the Uganda People's Defense Forces is facilitated to take its constitutional mandate first to protect our borders before, during, and after. Wrong people come during election time.
The Deputy CDF, Lieutenant General Samuel Okiding, responded, apologizing to the public on the behaviors witnessed in the recent Kawempe North by-elections, saying that investigations are ongoing.
We are very sorry.
we saw what happened. It was purely operational mistakes.
Operational mistakes. Good.
That is not our doctrine. But out of 1,000 people, there are those who cannot control emotional quotients.
Sometimes your action speak louder. Now that they have tendered in the apology, we would like to see the action of our UPDF, the action of police, in fact, the action of all the security forces, how they would behave from now on.
Lydia Chomkama and Gloria Gutabinji, Parliament.
And with that, we take a quick break. When we return, more details.
Kama nemo pocket, tambula body street, issues are my target. We are what? Unstoppable. We are what? Unstoppable. I'm in a plantation, but on a global mission. Internet ambition, full condition. We are what? Unstoppable. We are what? Unstoppable. Oro cash is gone, netaga yo karoni, niga mukafoni, money in the zone. We are what? Unstoppable. We are what? Unstoppable. We are good.
With you and MTN together, our ambition is unstoppable.
We are what? Unstoppable!
Alright, listen up. Colocate is on a mission. It makes our gums happy and our teeth strong. See? We're moving forward and making changes.
It's kind of a big thing.
Colgate Herbal uses traditional nature's herbs and combines it with Colgate science for healthy gums and strong teeth. And we'll leave no smile behind.
Welcome back. You are still watching News Tonight. The Inspector General of Police, Abbas Byakagaba, has urged police officers to refrain from borrowing from private financial institutions and instead focus on utilizing the police force's Exodus SACCO, where the management prioritizes the welfare of its officers. While officiating at the 12th annual general meeting of Exodus SACCO, the IGP highlighted the immense financial pressure that these private financial institutions place on the force's personnel.
The Inspector General of Police, Abbas Byakagaba, has highlighted the struggles faced by police officers dealing with the private financial institutions, noting that some are often entangled in various lending schemes which severely affect their performance.
Some of our people who rush to the money shacks, and you find they are indebted in different money shack organizations. For them, they don't care how you pay them back, but definitely the SACCO cares. And that's why we must concentrate on our SACCO.
While acknowledging the challenge of low salaries for officers, the IGP emphasized the importance of the police-based Exodus SACCO in promoting the financial security of police personnel.
This Exodus SACCO is meant to minimize pressure on personnel so that they can focus now on the real work. And therefore, we hold this arrangement very dearly.
Police officers are encouraged to take full advantage of SACCO's offerings and participate in government-initiated development programs such as the Parish Development Model, EMYOGA, and the Youth Livelihood Program, among others.
But as you know, this is a very, very important subject
to our lives, because we are looking towards improving our lives when we are still in service and even after the service.
At the 12th annual general meeting of the police established SACCO, the management announced a 15% increase in member dividends for 2024.
Last year it was 348 per share. This time it has gone to 442 per share. I think that is 15% increment. Why it comes to 15? Because when we put what profit we get from our loans and then from the business arm, that's why it was enhanced to that level.
However, during the review of the SACCO's performance, management raised concerns about the growing demand for loans, which is not being matched by the rate of savings.
We gave out loans much higher, but the savings very small, and that is dangerous. You can't expect to borrow when we are not saving. So that is one of the key issues that we need to address as members of this big body. How do we enhance our savings vis-à-vis borrowing?
On several occasions, members of the Police Exotic SACCO have raised issues of transparency in SACCO management, which the management incline on salary structure change. Abdul Nasir Lubwama and Rogers Komagum for UBC.
Okay, good.
Now, despite being treatable, retinal cancer in children remains a mystery to many, affecting even babies as young as 1 month old. Unfortunately, delayed diagnosis often result in the loss of sight or the need for prosthetic eyes. At the Uganda Cancer Institute in Mulago, the lack of essential diagnostic equipment makes early detection a challenge, forcing many families to seek care at a privately owned facility in Mbarara.
In Uganda, approximately 3,278 children are diagnosed with cancer annually, with eye cancer being one of the most prevalent. Over 80% of these cases are handled at the Uganda Cancer Institute in Mulago, underscoring the heavy workload faced by the facility. Alarmingly, 2/3 of adolescents with cancer never reach medical care and sadly succumb to the disease.
More than 80% of this burden is actually seen here at Uganda Cancer Institute. And so that means that 2/3 of our children and adolescents that develop cancer in Uganda are dying somewhere. We don't really know where they are. And so we also have a job to see that more and more children will come into care and have a chance at cure. Because if you're going to be treated for your cancer, you really have to present to a cancer treatment center like at the UCI. But as the children are referred along the health system, they'll present here very late, very advanced disease where we can only palliate them. So that is one of the biggest contributors to poor survival.
The Uganda Cancer Institute faces severe challenges due to a lack of the necessary equipment for diagnosing eye cancer in children. Whereas retinal cancer is curable, many children lose their sight because they receive treatment too late. The absence of diagnostic tools is severely hampering the fight against the disease. To address the gap in eye cancer testing equipment, the Lions Club of Kampala host has received a donation of 10 million Uganda shillings from the Insurance Training College.
And now the challenge they don't have equipment to see what is in the eye. Is the eye okay? So by the time they see that the eye is not okay, it's already cancerous. And they have to check if the eye is not okay, is it cancerous or something else? They don't have that equipment.
The head of the Insurance Training College explained that supporting the fight against cancer in children is crucial, as it also helps in reducing medical claims, but also forms part of their broader mandate to support the health sector.
As the college, we felt this was an opportune moment for us to come in and support these initiatives. This donation, we believe, will go a long way in supporting the members of the community, those that have been affected by cancer.
The Lions Club of Kampala host requires at least 180 million Uganda shillings to help purchase the essential eye cancer diagnostic equipment.
Because if they have the equipment to diagnose this cancer early, they can save the sight of the child.
Crispus Arinitwe, UBC News.
And leaders of the Uganda Muslim Supreme Council in Mbarara have called on Muslims to put aside their divisions and disagreements among leaders and instead focus on unity, love and development. This call was made during an iftar dinner at Kacheka Mbarara Stadium, organized by the President's Office.
As Ramadan nears its end, the office of the NRM chairman and the president in Kiboga organized the iftar dinner to bring together Muslims from various sects in Mbarara. Haj Mukasa Rashid, the Mbarara district Muslim chairman, and other leaders emphasized the need for unity among Muslims, extending invitations to those from different sects to attend the event.
And also to make sure that we love each other. Now today we are all together with our brothers the Christian. Let's keep that spirit of keeping together. We are all God's people. We should remain like this, and we develop our country.
Sin, never wish bad things. Never wish that you should lose all these things we have done in a minute because of excitement. So let's keep.
They encouraged Muslims to actively participate in government self-development programs and support the president in the upcoming elections.
It's good now they have accepted that these programs for everyone and they are for no profits. Therefore, we thank the president for whatever he has done, and we appeal to him that there are small things as we mobilize these people. People are talking about small things like some pledges and fulfilled pledges, which will be communicating to Hajati.
The head of the office of the NRM chairman and the president, Hajat Hadija Anamialo, expressed gratitude to the Muslims for their unity and acknowledged that divisions had previously hindered their progress.
Let's stop divisionism among ourselves and work towards development and spreading Allah's message.
She promised to return to Mbarara with items and support to help Muslims overcome poverty.
We will come back with empowerments aimed at uplifting people from poverty through starting up something to do.
Crispus Arinitwe, Joseph Muyingo, UBC News.
And a growing number of young people across the country are not engaging with government programs designed to support their education, employment and community development. Youth leaders attribute this gap to a widespread lack of information.
According to a recent survey by the National Youth Council, over 60% of youth aged 18 to 24 reported that they had never participated in any government initiative aimed at supporting them. Bright Your Face, the chairperson of the NRM Youth League in Bunjangabu district, highlighted a disconnect between the existing programs and the youth who could benefit from them.
ameze okwanibija abamwe bagamba byabo nk'abantu bamwe bayisi banu omulingo ogundi ogugenzere gwabo ngo kusanga omuntu bayisi batakusagikire runi tubabere nawe kandi president Museveni bakozereki bali nawe hati abantu bakuleta project yezu za president Museveni no isindikire zo kubenefitinga abantu ubone bagamba project zinu zaki zeitu nk'abantu hati no sanga ikintu cyo kujya omwana kwemera agamba katusagike muzeyi Museveni atusagikire mu kintu nanka na nanka tukiro ero candidate kukwayisimbira antebenkeza LC5 ba member of parliament a project zone bazifere zabo.
Government outreach methods have also been criticized for being outdated and ineffective in reaching younger generations. Bwambale Moses, NRM Changed Youth Chairperson, urged the government to launch a targeted youth sensitization campaign. This issue was discussed during a regional meeting for NRM Changed Youth held in Fort Portal to elect new leadership.
We have tasked also the district coordinators to go on ground and also start mobilizing the sub-county coordinators who are already there, so that when they are done, we can reach out to the district and also unveil them, the sub-county coordinators from their district. But for today, it is done. I thank our patron, Mr. Kawamara Misach, the Senior Presidential Advisor Mobilization, for the support, the guidance has been giving to us to reach all those far that we are now, and we are still moving ahead.
Relatedly, over 50 youth from Toro and Rwenzori, who recently joined NRM, requested leadership training in Chankwanzi to understand peace and government plans better.
Our mission and purpose is to mobilize for NRM because in our last election, 2021, President Museveni got about 50% in Kasese, 60% and 70% in other districts. So we want to do real mobilization so that in the next election we get over 80%. And this we shall achieve because they can see how we have started and what we are doing. Really, there's good signs that we shall make it in the coming elections.
Michak Kawamara, Senior Presidential Advisor, urged new recruits to promote peaceful coexistence, avoid violence, and support government programs, pledging to raise their voice at Chankwanzi.
We are very happy that we launched successfully and we set the regional leadership successfully. Today we had our first planning meeting and setting off activities in the region. So now, it is now on us. We have flagged off everyone. We are going to different places to preach the gospel of NRM to the opposition so that they can change and come and join NRM.
Sudat Kaye, UBC News.
And while passing out more than 2,000 patriots, Brigadier General Justice Rukundo, who represented the Commissioner of the National Secretariat for Patriotism Corps, emphasized the power of vision in achieving success. He also warned students against risky behaviors such as drug abuse and early marriages, encouraging them to make responsible choices for a brighter future. The pass-out ceremony took place at Old Kampala Field with 10 schools participating.
Undo, Commandant of the Oliver Reginald Tambo School of Leadership and Pan-African Center of Excellence in Kaweweta, representing the Commissioner for the National Secretariat for Patriotism Corps, SACCO, Helen, urged the newly inducted patriots to stay true to their values and make responsible choices.
You know, for you to keep away from HIV and these other killer diseases, the only formula which they tell you, which they state is A. Abstain.
Rukundo also highlighted the importance of having a clear vision and urged them to embrace this mindset as a foundation for a bright future.
Use the vision now. Get a vision. Leave it to yourself, and what about you? How to get that vision? Once you get that vision, that's now hard work.
Deputy RCC Kampala Central, Kiboga Shafik, together with Arthur Mbalule, highlighted the importance of patriotism in helping individuals understand their role in shaping their country's future.
Do not involve yourself in negative politics. Negative what? We don't refuse you to enter politics, but negative what?
Patriotism develops discipline, and anybody who has attended the patriotism class will be different from somebody who hasn't, which is helpful to them.
Amina Mukasa, Kampala Central Coordinator and Head Teacher of Kololo High, along with Regional Coordinator Irene Semuko, expressed their belief that the training was worthwhile as they have already begun seeing positive results. They urged students to stay away from early pregnancies and drug abuse.
There has been a shift in the mindset of the students trained in these schools. Keep away from marijuana. Keep away from drugs.
Over 2,000 students from various schools, including Kololo High, Old Kampala SS, completed the training. I'm Nafka Farida and Prosi John Tawaire.
Institutions of higher learning are being urged to embrace artificial intelligence in their education, which will enable them to perform tasks that typically require human intelligence. These have been revealed by education experts during the 15th Higher Education Exhibition in Kamukuzi at the district headquarters of Mbarara.
Over 500 institutions of higher learning in Uganda have gathered in Kamukuzi at the district headquarters of Mbarara, showcasing a wide range of education opportunities.
Artificial intelligence is by the good. It has helped us in research, and we think this artificial intelligence is more for protection.
I can use one of the social media platforms and search for my work.
The spokesperson for the Uganda National Council for Higher Education, Sol Waigolo, says they aim to provide information to students, parents and other stakeholders in education to help them make informed decisions when choosing courses and career paths.
Those who have sat senior 4, those who have sat A-level to get information, which will help them when they are making a decision is on institutions to join and decision is on the programs to offer.
Solway Golo emphasizes that embracing artificial intelligence in higher learning institutions will greatly improve the education system in Uganda.
It's going to want to quicken the process. 2, it will enable so many students attaining education. You can attain education even when you are home. You can be in home without moving to the institution. You just have to pay, you study from home, you do exams from home, assessment is done by artificial intelligence by those lecturers.
AI is like an enabler to do things faster and to do things better. In my perspective, we have looked at AI as an enabler in a practical manner. When you look at most of the AI-related work in higher learning or in education system, they help students to actually become more practical.
You can also use AI to get raw materials for your resources that you are kind of designing.
Among the universities participating in this education exhibition are Seta University, Ibanda University, King Caesar University, Soroti University, Uganda Matters University and Metropolitan International University, among others.
Going to offer an international curriculum in a localized manner such that when a product of Seta University finishes the program from here, they can easily transit or accelerate into developed countries' market.
Education experts have encouraged students to familiarize themselves with artificial intelligence as it is easier to use and can help combat unemployment.
I remind every child, every student, the parent, or the stakeholders to make sure that they join an institution, they do a course or a program where technology is actually a driver.
Even when a lecturer is not in class, at least a student can find out something from artificial intelligence. And some of these applications have been well developed.
They emphasize that exhibitors offer valuable insights to help students make informed decisions about their career paths.
Artificial intelligence is not here for us to be scared, but it is here for us to appreciate and integrate and make use the best of it.
The exhibition will be officially opened by Right Honorable Thomas Taebwa, the Deputy Speaker of Parliament.
Come on, mo pocket, tambula body street, issues are my target. We are what? Unstoppable. We are what? Unstoppable. I'm in a plantation, but on a global mission, internet ambition, full condition. We are what? Unstoppable. We are what? Unstoppable. Oro cash is gone, netaga yo kaloni, niga mukafoni, money in the zone. We are what? Unstoppable. We are what? Unstoppable. We are good.
With you and MTN together, our ambition is unstoppable.
We are what? Unstoppable.
smile that is white, fresh and beautiful is a smile to be proud of. Discover new Colgate White and Fresh for the whole family with high quality and an incredible price.
Amazina ganje Ninyetekwa Seruhanga John Bosco Induga mu district ya Rukungiri byo muhanguzi wa miliyoni 16 na Uganda National Rotary nzahangwire urwo mu kuzana star 278 hash ngafuna message eriko mu muhanguzi nashemererwa konka nabaza kugira ngo neri y'abafere sente ziriyo zone bakaziteka ngo ko nazihangwire.
Uganda National Lottery. Dream, play, win.
Participants must be 18 years or older. Play responsibly. The Uganda National Lottery is operated by Ituba Uganda and regulated by the National Lotteries and Gaming Regulatory Board.
According to the Uganda Bureau of Statistics Census Report of 2016, in Uganda, 12.4% of the population, about 4.5 million, live with a disability. Limited access to ICT and assistive technologies increases digital disparities, prompting UCOSAF's aim to promote digital inclusiveness for persons with disabilities. The ICT for People with Disability program aims to improve the accessibility of education and technology for persons with disabilities and promote their full and effective participation in society. UCOSAF is implementing this program through the creation and maintenance of an online observatory for persons with disabilities intended to link persons with disabilities with service providers and different programs that empower them, and provision of adaptive tools that enhance their quality of life through ICTs and digital skilling.
Listen up. Colgate is on a mission. It makes our gums happy and our teeth strong. See? We're moving forward and making changes.
It's kind of a big thing.
Colgate Herbal uses traditional nature's herbs and combines it with Colgate science for healthy gums and strong teeth.
And we'll leave no smile behind.
And on business, the Uganda Wildlife Authority has signed multiple investment contracts aimed at enhancing accommodation facilities within national parks and developing a glass bridge and a restaurant at the top of Makshan Falls. Let us take a look.
A 50-seater restaurant on a 2-acre piece of land at the top of the falls.
Now we have them going to do for us a bridge over the Nile. Glass bridge, and with it will be a restaurant for the visitors to the glass bridge. And our prayer is that immediately we sign, they start the processes.
Today we sign for glass bridge in Patriotism Force. I'm in this country only 23 years. Before, black, now green, like chairman. I'm spending my life, my time, everything in this country because I love this country.
The agreements were signed in the presence of Martin Mugara, the State Minister for Tourism.
You have our support as a ministry, and in conclusion, because I know you people have to succeed, the investors, please, if you feel there is anything else we can do, we are open to ideas. You might want to grow your numbers from the Chinese community in China, and you think as a ministry maybe there are some things we could do better to grow your volume so that you succeed in your business, be it even our other local partners. We are open to these ideas.
Other key concessions include Cargo Bed Holdings taking over the operations of Jacana Safari Lodge at the Queen Elizabeth National Park. The site will operate under the Serena brand upon completion of the Memorandum of Understanding. Russell Hall Limited signed an agreement with Uganda Wildlife Authority to establish a high-end lodge at Upper Losigeria in the Kidepo Valley National Park.
I know that government is investing in infrastructure. In Kidepo, there is someone putting up a big airport. I think they've started by road diversion. And once the airport is up and running, definitely that will also grow our traffic numbers.
You've chosen to go to Murchison Falls. You've chosen to go to Queen Elizabeth National Park. You've chosen to go to Kidepo Valley National Park. All these are very sensitive ecosystems, very important for conservation of biodiversity, but very important for our development as a nation. It's my humble appeal that you handle them with all the care that it takes.
The Assistant Commissioner of Sports, Ministry of Education and Sports, State Sami Odong, has launched the 5th edition of Makerere University Run, slated for the 17th of August this year, and opened the first ever souvenir and gifts shop at the university. This year's run is aimed at soliciting funds to continue supporting students with disabilities.
Eyo ye marathon kwegamba enzijuvu n'olwekyo ku luno njagala kuyita abantu mwena abaana baffe ab'e Makerere abasomerako wano ne families zammwe zonna ne mikwano gyamwe mujje wano e Makerere nga 17 August tulage Kampala nti Makerere weeri era tukola okukolera abaana baffe abagenda okubeera abakulembeze b'eggwanga lyaffe mujje mwena ku lunaku lwo.
Of course is encouraging all institutions to please think outside the box and innovate and come up with means of mobilizing resources to support their programs. And you know, by mobilizing resources, this is one of the means of mobilizing resources. Therefore, I only want to call upon all other universities to copy what Makerere is doing and come up with means for self-sustainability. This is the little I can say.
That the shop will be able to generate enough revenue, and one of the major things that we are looking at is to ensure that we have commodities that the university students can afford, because we believe that the biggest market is actually by university students who are in tens of thousands.
The needs of the students with a disability are a lot. There are a lot of things which we still haven't done. We have plans that we should have a vehicle that picks these students with disability from wherever they are and take them to their lecture halls. We don't have that yet. A lot of them are having to buy their own wheelchairs, and we still need much more equipment to ensure that the students can have a real good experience of the university. For example, we are going online for most of our teaching. Some of the equipment there will help them, but if we have a dedicated online studio for students with disabilities, so that for them, they just go there to attend these classes which are online, that will be a big contribution to our students. So we still need much more than what we have.
Right, and that does it for News Tonight. Thank you for sticking with us. Dorothy Namiyomba on Sign Language. I am Rhoda Ngozi. Have yourselves a lovely night.
UBC, inspiring Uganda.
I'd love to take this opportunity to thank our President, Yoweri Kaguta Trihabura Museveni by coming up with a Myoga program. We started in 2021 as Kasui Parish Carpenters and Myoga SACCO. When we received this amount of 30 million, we had a problem, we had a challenge of machines. We used to carry our wood and we would carry it up to Waise to be worked on. So when we got this chance, we are able to buy machines to ease our work of carpentry. At the moment, we are a number composed of 140 members. We have the women who come in and do saloon chairs. We have the men doing 3-drawer tables, 2-drawer tables, and different kind of furniture. Before the Myoga program came in, we had a lot of crimes taking place on this road. When this Myoga program came up, we managed to collect these youths. We gave them hope that you can change from stealing, and we can give you skill so that you be someone in the society that will even help another person.
Kansoke ddala okwebaza omukulembeze w'eggwanga olw'emirimu emirungi gy'ataddemu ngaffe abavubuka. Nze nno nze omu ku abo ababeeranga ku kkubo okwo emisana n'ekiro ng'oluusi olw'okuba naffe tunoonya ekyokulya nga gwakiyina oba mmwe twakiyitanga b'amalala bagenda beerabisa nga tubagwamu munnange era nga tuba tulina obikuggyako naffe ne tubaawo. Naye munnange neebaza kyamani wange wa wano yankwatako nno wamu ne bannange twatandika okukozesa mashini zino tandika okuwawula okulanda okukola dizayini emmeeza zino tuzifulumya entebe bwe ziti tulina emirimu gye tutandikirako emyangu okugeza ng'okufulumya obumotoka buno. Kano akamotoka n'omwana omuto w'emyaka 5 akafulumya. Bw'ova mu kufulumya akamotoka kano owawula okukwata oluwawu n'owawula emmeeza ng'eno n'ebeera smooth oluvaawo nga bakutwala ku mashini.